Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. And basically a show where we cover a lot of hot, NBA news, hot topics, and where we give you a fresh take on sports and the way we see it. So that's basically what the show is. And in today's episode, man, the topic is Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers have the biggest choke job ever. So that's the topic we're going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. We also have a poll that we're running in our community, so go ahead and check that out. It's going to be in the link in the description below. So check it out and leave a vote and let us know what you think about that. And also, we're on Spotify. If you guys want to check us out, we have that in the link in the description below. The Dreamerspro Podcast is there. So let me just get into this topic, man. So first of all, I don't even know where to begin. First of all, let me just come out and say publicly, I was wrong, man. I was wrong. I saw the game last night, and basically what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm just going to give you guys a breakdown of the game and give you my thoughts about what happened, but I am super disappointed in what I saw from Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers last night. So let me just get into it. So y'all saw the game. Beginning of the game, you could tell that both teams came out with a lot of nerves. It was quite low scoring in the first few minutes of the game. But the Clippers, funny enough, looked engaged in the first quarter. And they were attacking the basket. And Montrezl Harrell was very aggressive. And he looked like he was doing his thing. So for me, I was like, okay, this may be a good sign. But we all remember a few years ago, I believe it was in the NBA Finals, with the Golden State Warriors. And Draymond Green was having a monster game, and when one of you're probably your third or fourth best player is having a great game, you know something is up, because usually the great game should be coming from your best player. So he was there, and he was trying. You could see they were trying to put a lot of pressure on the Denver defense and get them in foul trouble. And the Clippers got out. They started to get a quick cushion after two quick threes from Kawhi Leonard and John Michael Green and a dunk for Montrezl Harrell. So in the first quarter, they looked to be engaged, and Harrell came off the bench, I think, at that point. And he had, I think, something like 9 points off the bench at that point. Now, as the game started to progress, one thing started to become glaringly obvious. And it's something that's been obvious all series long, but I thought it was something that they would overcome. And I thought it's something that a lot of people pointed out to, and to their credit, a lot of people said that the Clippers don't have a lot of defense, great defense against bigs. Now, the difference is when I looked at the Clippers and the Lakers going against each other, I figured a way the Clippers can neutralize Anthony Davis is through physical play, because Anthony Davis is a finesse big. You rarely see him banging in the post. Whereas in this case, Nikola Jokic is a completely different type of player, man. He is very, very good at passing the ball. He plays at the top of the key, and he pretty much just directs traffic and directs the offense. And he's very hard to contain in the pick and roll, because either he has, and it was unbelievable how many cuts that the Denver Nuggets were able to get throughout that game just because of Zubac. These guys just couldn't contain him, and just because of Nikola Jokic. And at one point, he just came down the court and just quickly made a move and got Zubac in foul trouble, and he was out of the game, in the first half. Now, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were attacking the basket, which I liked, and they kept on trying to put Denver in jeopardy, and it looked like they were off to a pretty, solid start. And towards the end of the second quarter, Kawhi Leonard started getting some buckets. He had a three, and then he attacked the basket, and it looked like they got a quick cushion. It looked like they had extended their lead to what was 10. And I liked how at that point Doc Rivers, when I saw that the Clippers were sort of getting into this rut where they would stop scoring or whatever it is, he called a timeout to get them together, and also to stop the Denver team from building any momentum whenever they're going to run. And then business as usual. They got the lead going into the end of the first half, and then they gave up the lead and brought it to a 2-point game where Jamal Murray at that point, I think he hit a jump shot or something like this to cut the lead to 2, right, going into the third quarter. And in the third quarter, man, right on cue, the Clippers got out to a quick, I think 7-point lead or so, and then they lost their lead. And then they went down. And at that point, I was saying to myself, I wanted to understand. I wasn't even taking that much notes at that point. What I wanted to understand was, Does this team have the mental toughness to get themselves back into the game and take the lead? I wanted to see if they had the fight in them. And boy, did they not. The Clippers, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I have never seen something like this before. Ever. In all my time in watching basketball, I have never seen a team collapse like this in a game. Ever. Ever. A number 2 seed. The only time I can think back to a major upset, in this case, it wasn't such a major upset because it was a 3 and a 2 seed, was when the Dallas Mavericks had that 60 plus win team, and they got knocked out in the first round by the Golden State Warriors with the 8th seed with Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, and these guys. That's the last upset, a really big upset that I can point to and say, wow. And at that point in that third quarter, I started to have so many questions. First of all, Lou Williams was a defensive and offensive liability all game long, okay? For some reason, and I'm going to get to Doc Rivers in another episode that we're going to release, Doc Rivers decided to keep Lou Williams on the court. And my only question I had, my only thought I had was probably the reason he wanted to keep Lou Williams in the game was because of offense for spacing. But the Nuggets would pick and roll the hell out of him. And this is what would essentially happen. The Nuggets would put Lou Williams in a pick and roll, get the switch. And because he was a defensive liability, it would now cause the Clippers to have to double team, take a man off, they would swing the ball and get easy shots, either dunks or open threes. And this happened all throughout the third quarter. And in my mind, I was asking myself, what in the hell are these Clippers actually trying to accomplish by doing this? Because Lou Williams was missing shots up and down the floor, going at the basket and all of that. And then we got to the fourth quarter. And going into the fourth quarter, the Clippers were down 8 points. And I said to myself, what I witnessed in that fourth quarter was, I have never seen something like that before. And I know some of you guys in the comment section are cracking up. And you know what, man? Y'all have every right to crack up. The people are laughing because, man, these guys made me look like a damn fool. And I admit it. For Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to go scoreless in the fourth quarter together, let me tell you what that exactly is like. It is tantamount to when LeBron was with the Miami Heat that first season and they went to the NBA Finals, and I think he scored, 6 points that game, and he had no points in the fourth quarter. And as much as a beat down that LeBron James got for that, deservingly so, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George should get the same amount of criticism. Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player, but man, you choked the hell out of that. You choked that game away. Paul George, right, which I'm going to get to in a few moments, is, let's say we can expect that from him, although I didn't. But Kawhi Leonard to score 0 points, and he was taking shots, but he was missing shots. It was like as if Kawhi forgot how to score. It was unreal. And at that point, I was watching the game in complete disbelief, man. It was like, even now, I don't really have an explanation for what I saw. Maybe some of you guys did, but since there were so many glaring issues, it's hard to point to one thing. And the thing that was the most confusing was, if you looked at Kawhi Leonard last season, the guy was getting buckets, hitting shots all throughout the playoffs. Against the Magic, against the Philadelphia 76ers, against the Milwaukee Bucks, against the Golden State Warriors. These are solid teams, man, minus the Magic. And then you come to another team that has more offensive firepower, and you couldn't get it done. Kawhi, man, listen, you're my favorite player, man, but your legacy took a hit after this, man. I can't. How am I supposed to defend this? How am I supposed to defend you? I can't. And I got to call you out on this one, man. Every bit of criticism that is levied at you today, you deserve it, right? You really messed up big time. And this one hurt your legacy, bro. Your career is not over, right? Players have gone to players have had many things happen to them in the playoffs where they've had failures. Kobe has failed in the playoffs. Michael Jordan, not like this. LeBron has failed in the playoffs. So many others have failed in the playoffs, but they always bounce back. Bro, you got to bounce back. The only way to bounce back from this type of performance that you put forth is you got to win a championship down the road, man. Because if you don't, man, forget about the Kobe, Michael Jordan, all of that, man. That joint is over with. Not going down like that. Kawhi needs to come back and play better. Now, let me talk about Paul George, man. First of all, I was wrong. And the reason I was wrong, I just said there's no way that Paul George, just think of him not showing up in the playoffs is a real thing. I'm like, how can this be something? How is it something real? I mean, are we is it like magic or voodoo or something like this? But apparently, Paul George shrinks under the pressure, man. And for me, I think the Clippers need to seriously look at making some changes. Okay, they need to make some changes. And I'm going to get to Doc Rivers, but I think they need to make some changes. Some people need to go, okay? They have too many point guards on the team. You have Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, and Reggie Jackson, who didn't play, by the way, right? Lou Williams couldn't even throw the ball in the ocean. You could at least brought in Reggie Jackson to get some minutes. They have too many point guards, number one. Number two, Montrezl Harrell is not big enough. He's 6'7", or him and Kawhi Leonard are the same height. So I don't know what type of philosophy they have. Now, I guess maybe some people said that they built the team to beat the Lakers, and probably that would have worked, but they didn't beat this team. And I thought that the Clippers were a better team. But this right here, man, this is unbelievable. So I was wrong, man. These guys choked. Kawhi Leonard choked. And I feel bad for some of these Clippers fans, these lifelong Clippers fans that really thought that their team could make it to the finals this year and possibly win it. I feel bad for y'all, man. I feel bad for myself because Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the world. And he really let me down in a way that I cannot even begin to understand or describe. So I got to take this on the chin. Like, I was wrong. And any kind of jokes y'all got in the comment section, I'm not even going to respond because this is y'all day. All right, y'all can let me have it because there's no excuse for that. So I'm not even gonna. You can levy the jokes at me, man. Y'all, today's your day. I'm not even gonna respond to that because you guys are right. Now, regarding the Clippers, now that they're out of the playoffs, right? And they got to go figure out what they're gonna do in the offseason. And for us, I think we've covered the Clippers quite enough, and we're gonna take a break with it because there's nothing more really to say. There's nothing more really to say about the Clippers at this point. Or about Kawhi Leonard, to be honest with you, right? It's not like as if something happens, like maybe they make a trade or something like that. Obviously, we're going to discuss that, but I think for the way that these guys let me down, man, I'm not. We're going to take a nice hiatus from talking about the Clippers because they don't deserve to be talked about in any kind of way right now with the way that they just choked away that series. So those are my thoughts and opinions on this. I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts on this. So what I want to know from you guys is let me know about what you thought about this choke job that Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers put forward. I want to know your comments. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. So whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day.